Hi, this is Alexis back for week 11, which was jQuery and Ajax. And the assignment was to create a simple tic-tac-toe game. So on the left in my browser, this is the screen that first loads. It is turn number one, it is X's turn. And then you have these cells available here to click on. And you can do a restart game at the bottom. So it's X's turn. You can click and there's an X that appears. Now it's O's turn. And you can go like this and until you get a win. Let me do a win here. There we go. So I played an O, and then the game automatically resets. And then if you're partway through the game and you feel like restarting, you just hit the restart button down here and it reloads the page. So over in my HTML document, I've linked to all of my style sheets up top here, Bootstrap, and then my own style .css sheet that I made. And it just contains the styling that you see on the HTML grid that I made, very rudimentary. And down here in this div class called game grid is where I created all of the cells that you can play in the game. And they each have a unique button ID, play 1 through play 9. And then they have this event listener attached to them where when that mouse is pressed down, it'll run this button click function and pass in the ID that you see displayed here in using or the containing the function in the JavaScript file. And then finally, just some Bootstrap styling. All right, so over to the JavaScript document. The first thing that happens when the window is loaded with this onload is it runs a function that initiates this turn counter variable. It uses the turn text, which is the ID for this text we see up here. And it just displays this on the load. And then down below, it gets replaced when it runs this button click function. It starts changing the text we see up here as we saw earlier. In this function called button click, which again references the button click event listener down here in the grid. So basically, whenever a button is clicked, this function is run and it uses the ID in that HTML document and passes it into here. So that's how it knows which button to change and how. So here's what I just talked about. And then it changes the turn number using this turn number ID. It changes the text up here. It passes in the I that's incremented, letting you know which round that we're on. And then an if statement down here basically says if the statement above includes O, it is O's turn in it, then it will change the text to the turn number and it is X's turn. And when the button is clicked, it'll enter an O in that cell. So that's what happens when that button is clicked down, as we saw in the HTML document. And the else statement handles the opposite of that situation. So it would enter an X. So we can see that in action here. And then after that, it runs this verify winner and it console logs I, which I guess that doesn't really matter. But down here, the verify winner, as it sounds, is where it contains, is a function that contains all of the statements that, tell you which conditions give you a win. For example, if we had all X's across the horizontal cells, or we had all O's, in the vertical cells. So all of these are written into the verify winner function, and it's done through an if and an else if statements. So it just goes down one by one to check each of these statements. So we'll go over the first one, which is just saying if play 1, which is this first cell, is equal to play 2, which is the second cell, and play 2, which is the second cell, is equal to play 3, which is the third cell, then you'll get this alert that says you win and it will reload the page. So it goes through all the different conditions of a win in the browser. And then the last else if statement handles that if I equals 11, which is basically the number of turns, which you would fill up all of this entire grid. It'll say no winners and it'll reload the page. And then finally at the bottom, we have this restart game button, and it just has the event listener added on there, where if that button's clicked, it will reload the page. Not able to do an XML thing there since I'm not able to call any APIs at the moment. All right, thanks a lot. Bye.